Hear that sound? That spooky bubbling up from below? No, it's not a boiling witch's cauldron. It's an impromptu fog machine we rigged up in the sci-fi kitchen yesterday with just a little hot water and a bag of dry ice. And as All Hallows Eve tiptoes up behind us, it's time to break out your geeky do-it-yourself tricks. Why not frighten the neighbors with science? Call us with your Halloween hacks, 841-SCI-TALK, 844-724-8255. You can tweet us also at Sci-Fi. Send us your photos. Maybe you've got some nice Halloween photos. You can tweet them at Sci-Fi. Our guide to this phantom underworld of creepy crafty is Eric Wilhelm, founder of Instructables. He joins us from KQED. Welcome back, Eric. Nice to have you and Instructables back on Science Friday.
Thank you very much.
And we have featured some of your hand-picked projects at sciencefriday.com/DIY Halloween. You got your costume ready, Eric?
I do.
Yeah?
I'm going to be Mad Max, and I have my 3-year-old son who's going to be a war boy. We're going to be chained together and running around getting candy.
Wow. Wait, yeah, go ahead.
He's got that translucent little kid hair, so he almost looks bald, and a little bit of chalk, a little bit of makeup around the eyes. He's going to look awesome.
Well, right out of the Addams Family, sort of.
Exactly.
You know, one of the classic food items at Halloween parties is peeled grape eyeballs, and which don't look anything like eyeballs. But
those only work when you're in the dark. You have people put your hand in there and grab an eyeball. But if you want to serve an eye that looks like an eye, we've got a great project which is called Creepy Coconut Kiwi Panna Cotta, and it really looks like an eye. So the white of the eye is made from a coconut gelatin, and then you cut a kiwi to make up the striations of the iris. Put a plumped raisin in the center, and then on top, to really make it look like an eye, you put clear gelatin to make the lens, and the thing looks like an eye. And then you sit it in some raspberry to make it look like it's pulled out, plopped on a plate, and still bleeding.
Wow. It looks like it popped right out of a Cyclops, right? Wow. I just got my first Arduino kit. I'm going to probably do a Periscope with it for everybody to watch me fool around with Arduinos. What kind of projects can you do with an Arduino? And then that's a little chip. It's a computer chip, right? That you program.
Yeah, it's a little computer, and it's quite easy to set it up and make it interface with the real world. So 2 fun projects. One, using some light sensors and a servo, you can make a skeleton appear to follow you. So the way you do this is you have 2 light sensors and you arrange them so that they will register when someone walks by, when their shadow comes. So you can set up the lights such that depending on where the person's standing, their shadow is either going to be on the left or the right sensor. And then you can hook the skeleton head up to a servo so it can then point at where the person is standing. And so that way, as they walk by, that skeleton head will appear to follow them and watch them as they walk by.
That is spooky. How hard is it to make something and to program the Arduino?
So the fun thing about these is that you can find code available on the internet so that you can learn how it works. You can tweak a little bit and make it work for you. So it's actually quite easy. The Arduino itself plugs in your computer. You can upload the code you find, make a few changes, and then you can get it running.
Our listeners are already chiming in with their suggestions and maybe even improvements for stuff that we're talking about. Let's go to Bill in Oakland, California. Hi, Bill.
Hello. I found that the more hot the water, the more fog I get from dry ice. So now I'm using a coffee maker or sterno to keep the water warm. And then I train some kids to safely handle the dry ice. And then I have to work less and less hard to have more and more fog.
Great. Thank you, Bill, for what do you say, Eric? A good tip?
Yeah. One of the tricks on dry ice is if you drop dry ice into some warm water, eventually you get water ice forming around the dry ice, which is frozen carbon dioxide, and that actually makes an insulating layer and prevents the carbon dioxide from subliming and bubbling up. So if you keep the water warm and you keep it agitated, you can actually prevent that layer of water ice from forming and get more fog out of it, exactly as described.
Great suggestion. Eric, you do, of course, have a few projects for our listeners who like to play with fire. And I'm thinking of a green flame for me.
This is a good one. So this is we call it the ghastly green fire. And what it is it's methanol and boric acid. So methanol is typically used as a gas line antifreeze and water remover. And then boric acid it's an antiseptic or pesticide. And you can also find it in borax as a laundry detergent. And you mix the two together. And what you're aiming to do is you're aiming to make some trimethyl borate, which when it burns, it has a very distinctive green flame. And that green comes from the boron element. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're making this in the couple of tablespoons range, it's about as safe as using lighter fluid on some charcoal. Mm-hmm. And the green it's a great green. It almost looks like the flu powder from the Harry Potter movies.
That methanol is a little bit dangerous. You got to be careful with how you deal with methanol. Our number, 844-724-8255. If you have a suggestion or you have an improvement or you'd like to ask a question, you're talking with Eric Wilhelm, who is founder of Instructables. And we're talking about the best Halloween do-it-yourself stuff. Let's talk about Rubens Tube. Not Rubens Cube, Rubik's Cube. Rubens Tube. What is that?
So a Rubens Tube, and this was developed by Heinrich Rubens, and it's a way to visualize the flow and pressure of sound waves. It's a flame tube. So it is a tube with a bunch of small holes that you flow a flammable gas down it and then put a speaker on the end and play a tone in that speaker, and the flames will be higher or lower based on the compressions or the rarefactions of the sound wave. So it's kind of like a primitive oscilloscope. It's a way of visualizing what a sound wave actually looks like.
So the flame's sort of dancing then?
The flames can dance. If you run music through it, the flames are literally dancing.
Wow. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Rotham in Pittsburgh. Hi, Rotham.
Hi, it's Rotem.
I'm sorry.
My little hack is I found a stuffed spider. It's about 3 feet wide at one of the toy shops, and what I did is actually ran fishing wire from inside my door out under my awning so that it hangs under the awning all the way up against it. And I have it hooked up to a little Lego Mindstorms kit that I've hooked up to with Bluetooth to my cell phone, and you can do it manually if you're not as technical. Just push out more fishing wire, and it lets the spider drop down from the front, which is great for when you have trick-or-treaters. They come to the door, they ring the doorbell. While they're talking to you, while you give them candy, you lower it to about head height behind them, and when they turn around, there's a giant stuffed spider hanging at eye level right behind them.
And a loud scream coming.
Yeah, usually. I've only had one group of girls scream and run away from the house so far. Well, hopefully I'll get more next year.
You really went high tech. You triggered from your cell phone?
Yeah, so one of the things that I had is I also set up a full Plinko board next to my house for the kids to toss ping pong balls into to see what kind of candy they get, because they can get full-size candy bars or the smaller ones. So some of them were playing that, and some of them were going to the door for my wife, and this way I can trigger it from my pocket while they're talking to my wife.
Take a picture and send it to us. Send it to us at Sci-Fry, and so we all can look at it on Twitter.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks a lot. Or Instagram it to us. Thanks a lot. Happy Halloween. There's some people, Eric, who really go nutty with the details, and that's the good part, right?
Halloween's my favorite holiday because it's the last holiday where DIY is best. A homemade project is always better than a store-bought costume, and everyone appreciates it when you make your own Halloween stuff.
Mm-hmm. One of your other food hacks is making candy glass shards. This isn't dangerous, is it?
So it's a cupcake, and it looks like it's covered in glass shards, and those glass shards are actually sugar glass, and you can make sugar glass by heating sugar and a little bit of corn syrup up to 300 Fahrenheit, and that gets it to the hard crack phase of candy making. You then put it in a baking pan, let it cool, and you get what amounts to a clear, hard candy that's in the shape of glass, and you can break it apart. It's brittle, actually, similar to glass, and you can put those shards into the cupcake, and you can bite it, and it really looks like you're eating broken glass. And of course, put some more red food coloring, some more red syrup on it, and it looks like your cupcake is glass and covered in blood.
It's probably what they're doing in the movies, anyhow, right?
Sugar glass is often used in movies.
Yeah. 844-724-8255 is a number. Also, you can reach us at Sci-Fi, 844-724-8255. Let's go to Walnut Creek, California, to Sean. Hi, Sean. Welcome.
Hi, Ira. How you doing?
Hi there.
Good. Well, I wanted to share the project what my sons and I are doing this year, which is an Arduino-based pumpkin stage. We've got some carved plastic jack-o'-lanterns that are being driven by an Arduino, listening to the music and changing their light structure based off of the music, so they look like they're singing.
Singing pumpkins, flashing.
Indeed.
Now, if you could only get those carved mouths moving up and down with. Next year.
For next year, but we're on it.
All right. Thanks a lot. Eric, reaction to that?
I love that kind of stuff. I love it when stuff's dancing. And you can also make the Arduino make skeletons look like they're speaking. So you can hook up a sound shield to play some pre-recorded sayings or screams or laughs, and then sync it in time to a servo moving the mouth of a skeleton, and you can make a skeleton talk.
Well, let me bring up another topic called pumpkin Tetris. Need I say more?
So in the pumpkin Tetris, which is lovingly called Pumptris, you carefully carve out what amounts to a screen in your pumpkin and then put LEDs behind it, so you can then play Tetris on your pumpkin. So you've got a lo-fi, low resolution screen that's carved into your pumpkin, and you play Tetris right on your pumpkin's face.
Wow. And you know, for theater aficionados, you have instructions on how to build an illusion, which I have seen for many, many years at Disneyland, Disney World, and the haunted house. You see the haunted people, you know, the ghosts in there. I never figured out how they did that because it was before computer graphics, right? And they had to do it a different way, and you explain it. Pepper's Ghost.
So this is Pepper's Ghost. So it's named after scientist John Henry Pepper, who popularized it in about 1860. And the way it works is you have a clear material, glass or plexiglass, and you can see through the glass, but you can also see reflections on the glass. So the glass is oriented at about 45 degrees to the viewers, and so they're both looking through it and they're seeing a reflection. So off to the side, you have another scene. So it's either a projector or it could just be a scene that's properly lit, that's masked from the way the viewers are looking at the glass. But as you turn the lights up on that side scene, you can suddenly see the reflection. And so what happens is, to the viewers, they see both what's through the glass, but also what's being reflected on the glass. And you can make it appear that ghosts will ghoulishly appear, disappear. People will change. This is an old carnival trick from the girl turning into a gorilla, where you have a woman sitting and then an image of a gorilla, and you change the lighting such that she appears to change into a gorilla.
We're talking about creepy, crawly things you can make for Halloween on Science Friday from PRI, Public Radio International. I'm Ira Flato talking with Eric Wilhelm, founder of Instructables. That's all kinds of folks with great ideas. Let's go right to them. Let's go to Kansas City, Missouri with Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Ira. How's it going?
Hey there.
Hey there. Okay, so my Halloween idea is you take empty toilet paper tubes and you cut like eyes in them, sort of like jack-o'-lantern eyes or something like that, kind of creepy little eyes. And then you can take button cell batteries and LED lights, and you sort of tape the leads from the LED light around the battery, and you can place them around the yard. It's like creepy glowing eyes sitting around the yard.
Whoa, that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah, so you can even light the path to the doorway.
You definitely can, and they last for quite a while, too, since LEDs don't use much battery.
All right. Thanks, Joe, for that hint. There's a lot of stuff, Eric, you can do with LEDs. That was a good little suggestion.
Yeah, that particular one we lovingly call those LED throwies. And you can also do things like add a magnet to it so that you can stick them on stuff.
What is the watermelon brain?
So if you want to have a brain, so similar to the eyes, if you want to serve your guests eyes and brain, what you can do is you can carefully scrape the skin off of a watermelon so that it goes from green to white, and then you can carve further down into the watermelon to expose the red flesh. And what you can get is you can get something that looks a lot like a brain. So it's got the white on the surface, but then red kind of canyons in it, and you carve it in the pattern of the folds of a brain, and you can serve a giant watermelon brain.
Something I was always trying to do, and never quite figured that out. Can you look into your Halloween crystal ball and try to tell us what fashions are going to be all the rage this year? Do you have any idea?
Well, given my costume, it's all going to be Mad Max.
So you think people, though, because you can take LEDs and these little flat batteries and put so much together, people might wear them now as costuming?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you can take it even further. You can actually get some fiber optic cables and use those to sculpt light so that you could make things that look like fairy wings. We've got a great project called programmable fiber optic fairy wings, where the wings are made from thin gauge metal, and then fiber optic fibers are traced around to form the veins of a wing, and then they're illuminated by LEDs. So you can program it to change colors, to turn on and off, but it looks like a glowing pair of wings.
Wow. So take some time. You got to allow yourself some time to work on these things. don't wait before the day before Halloween if you want to make some of these projects.
That's right. I mean, this is the weekend to start. You have 2 weekends ahead of to make your costume.
All right, we're going to take a break. We have lots more to talk about with Eric Wilhelm, founder of Instructables. If you'd like to give us a call with some suggestions, lots of good ones coming in. 844-724-8255. You can also tweet us at SciFry. You can send us some of your photos there on that tweet. Also, we got Tumblr and other kinds of places. Instagram, send us all kinds of stuff. We'll share it with everybody out there. Maybe you've got some great ideas people would like to have. We're going to take a break. As I say, we'll be right back after this short break. This is Science Friday. I'm Ira Plato. We're talking about how to do it yourself this Halloween. Why not build that Arduino-powered motion-detecting skull? Boy, that sounds like a good one. Build that this year. And when you do that, send us. Take a picture of it and send it to us at Science Friday at SciFry. You can also Instagram it to us. And also, we do want to hear about your DIY projects, so we can share a few as we count down to Halloween. Use your smartphone and record a video, a voice memo, not a video, a voice memo, and then email it to us at mystory@sciencefriday.com. That's mystory@sciencefriday.com. Tell us your name, where you're from, and what you made and how you did it. And try to keep it under a minute or two, and we'll collect all of them, and everybody can share each other's stories. Story of this hour is my guest, Eric Wilhelm, founder of Instructables, about stuff we can do in Halloween. Our number, 844-724-8255. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Barbara in Washington. Hi, welcome to Science Friday.
Hi, thank you. We thought, of course, we were very clever when we were kids, but this actually was kind of clever. You take a safety pin and open it, not quite the whole way, but open it like a quarter of the way. Put a little string through the hole up where the hooky part of the safety pin is. You'd have to get up to the house and stick the pin of the safety pin in the glazing around the window. And you'd have a very long string, so then you'd go back out to the sidewalk. And you'd just pull the string, and it would go tap, 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 tap on the window. And you could watch the people just sort of looking around. And then if they decided to come to the door to see what was going on, you just pull the string and keep going and do it to another house. And the scary part was you had to get close to the house. But It worked. We loved it.
Scared people at their own homes, huh? You sort of did a reverse. It's a reverse scaring thing.
Right, just make people crazy. And then the other great thing, of course, was a nice handful of unpopped popcorn. Just throw it at the window, and that's pretty scary, too. But we had fun. We enjoyed it. It was pretty easy.
Low-tech versions.
Exactly.
Some old-fashioned low-tech ways.
I hope somebody does it this year.
All right, Barbara, thanks for calling. Yeah, Eric, sometimes you can be low-tech like that.
I've got a big smile on my face over the safety pin. That's awesome.
What other things are you thinking about maybe for coming years? Do you work on stuff that may take more than 1 year to come to fruition?
One of the things I used to do when I lived in Somerville in Boston was a haunted porch. And so I would collect things over many years to put as part of the haunted porch. And one of the ones that I remember fondly was I postered the neighborhood with signs that said, blood bank, open sunset to sunrise. Please come give donations. And I had a peristaltic pump that pumped a bunch of V8 juice around and had an actual bowl flowing. And my favorite part of this was you'd get kids that would come up and they're in the 4 to 7 range and they'd say, that's not real blood. And you look them in the eye and you'd say, but it's salty. And they'd have to think about that and they'd have to think, would an adult really lie to me? It might actually be blood. And then they'd back away carefully.
Oh, goodness. Right. Spinning things out. Let's go to the phone. Kathy in Ormond, Florida. Hi, Kathy.
Hello.
Hey there.
I have a question for you. For Halloween, our theater opens its doors to younger children, and we recreate magical moments from various fairy tales. So one of them is for Cinderella, when Cinderella's fairy godmother changes her from her cinders outfit into her ball gown. My dilemma is I have not been able to figure out how to create like a big puff of smoke or a big flash of light to happen when Cinderella does this quick change, so to speak. Since I've got kids and costumes, I'm very worried about using those like a smoke bomb or anything.
Yeah. Eric, do you have a suggestion for her?
I think something called flash paper is actually intended for this purpose. So it's typically used in theatrical settings, and I think it's relatively safe. So it's not going to set the whole costume on fire, but you'd want to check in with someone who really knows what they're doing. But I think you'll find something productive if you search for flash paper.
Mm-hmm. Well, Eric, we've run out of time. I want to wish you a lot of success with your Mad Max motif this year.
Thank you very much.
And has your 3-year-old bought into this yet, or is this a surprise for him?
He's ready. No, he's totally ready. He's ready for the silver spray paint. And he says all the time, "I live, I die, I live again."
I can't top that. Thank you, Eric. Eric Wilhelm, founder of Instructables. And as I say, we want to hear about your project so we can share a few as we count down to Halloween. Just take a smartphone, record a voice memo, then email it to us at mystory@sciencefriday.com, mystory@sciencefriday.com. Tell us your name, where you're from, what you made, how you did it, and try to keep it under a minute or two.